to Football 101. I'm your host, The Beetle. That's right, we still bringing it strong. Former DB, high school, college, and you know the deal with The Beetle. And now I'm finishing up. Oh, not finishing up, but giving the next AFC West team that will surprise everyone. That is the LA Chargers. That's right, the LA Chargers in Los Angeles, in South LA, in SoFi Stadium. It's so sweet there. Man, I can't wait to get there myself. Yeah, I think it's off of I-10. Well, yeah, the Beetle used to live in Los Angeles, San Pedro. We calling it out. But that's a nice area where the SoFi Stadium is. And that's the headquarters of NFL Network, by the way, which is struggling. I had to say that because NFL Network is losing viewers right and left. And I'm not even going to say what else is going on in NFL Network. But this is about the Chargers, the LA Chargers. And let me just give a shout out to their ownership. The ownership is really nice. John Spanos. He's such a great owner and of operations. And then the chairman is Dean Spanos, his dad. I mean, the Spanos do so much for the Chargers and the community. Prime time ownership, no doubt. They really care about the residents, and they really do a lot of community work. So I just got to give up to the Spanos family, and then with new head coach. First-year head coach, but not new to the NFL. I have to give it up to Mr. Jim Harbaugh. Yes, from the University of Michigan, just won the championship, a college championship, and he's returning to the NFL, head coach of the LA Chargers. And Harbaugh, and along with his brother John Harbaugh in Baltimore, the Harbaughs. They have this thing said, here's their saying, who got it better than us? Nobody. And again, it's the Harbaugh tradition, their family, their dad. Matter of fact, they used to live in Ohio way back during the 60s. Their dad used to coach high school football in Ohio, in Michigan. So they got that old school. And I think, wow, I'm really going off script. I think one of Harbaugh's dad actually coached the Xenia Buccaneers back in the day, during the 60s. That's what I was told by some of my friends on Facebook from Xenia, Ohio. So check it out. So I have to give much props to Jim Harbaugh, even though he's like a loose cannon according to the media, but Jim Harbaugh is down-to-earth business when it comes to football knowledge. He's played the game at the top level. He was a quarterback for the Chicago Bears and Indy Colts. Y'all remember that. Then went into coaching. Coached a couple of places. He was even coach at Stanford University for a while before he got the gig at University of Michigan. And he coached in the NFL, played in the NFL. He's actually, coach for the San Francisco 49ers. Then he returned to college. Now he's back to the NFL. This is where he belongs, y'all. Yeah, he's such a professional. You could just tell in his press conference, he doesn't play. He doesn't BS. He gets to the point. He knows the coaches. He knows the ins and outs of the NFL. And he uses his clout. He uses his years of experience. And gotta give a shout out to props to Jim. Even though I'm not, he was at University of Michigan. I'm from Ohio State. Didn't like that. But he kicked Ohio State's tail. What can you say? But giving it up to Jim Harbaugh and he brings to his coaching staff Greg Roman, former Baltimore Raven offensive coordinator. So he picked up Greg Roman from his brother John Harbaugh, who's the coach for the Ravens. And then he has Jesse Mentor as defensive coordinator. Solid, very solid, top level coaches. And of course, Jim Harbaugh, being a quarterback himself, he knew he had to find the right team, and that's the reason why I think, cause his family also lives out in California, but he's with the team with the superstar quarterback and Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, top level quarterback. I mean, there's not much you can say bad about Justin Herbert. He is, he's 6'5". No, 6'5". No, what is he? He's 6'6", 236. And of course, you know, he graduated from Oregon. He has that rifle arm. I mean, he can put it on a dime. He has such a smooth delivery. The ball comes out of his hand, pinpoint, on a spiral, on a dime. It doesn't get any better than that. He's just again, getting used to, he's still getting used to the NFL level type of level, but when it calls for getting the ball on a rope 40 yards down down the field, he can do it with no problem. So again, Justin Herbert, he'll do well, but they also have backup quarterback. It's important to mention Max Duggan from Texas Christian, as well as Easton Stick from North Dakota State. So it's important because Justin Herbert, he will have some he has slight ankle injuries, but I think he'll make it through the season. Top level quarterback, all pro, no doubt, in his entire career. And so, but now he has a running attack. They picked up Gus Edwards from the Baltimore Ravens, a physical running back. And moving on from Eckler, they picked up Gus Edwards, and then they picked up J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins, another Ravens player, but J.K. Dobbins, an the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yes. J.K. Dobbins, 5th year in the league, superstar. And then the last game, let me just say, the last game that I saw against Carolina Panthers, he was rushing all through them. He was having a field day. Of course, it was Carolina, but he looked so good between the tackles. Give it up for J.K. Dobbins. Their running attack has dramatically improved. Unfortunately, the Chargers lost superstar Hall of Famer Keenan Allen to the Chicago Bears, but you knew that was going to come eventually. Yes, he's my boy, Keenan Allen, but he needed a new place to showcase his skills. And so, again, for wide receiver, the Chargers have Lade Courtney, Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnston, and Hayden Hurst. So, quite a high level of wide receivers. Offense, again, high level. And then it's their defense. And let me give it up to Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack on one end, and then they got Joey Bosa, the Ohio State. Of course, I have to give it up to Bosa and my boy Khalil Mack. So they bring in the pain right up front with Bosa, 9th year out of Ohio State, and Khalil Mack from University of Buffalo, 11th year. Again, outstanding front for the edge rushers. And let me just say, probably one of the best defensive backfields in the league, with safety Derwin James. Man, let me just say, I'm a big fan of Derwin James. He is such a professional, such a high-level DB, such a play caller as a safety, and this is his 7th year out of Florida State. And Derwin James is 6'2", 215. He looks so good back there. He's making the plays. And of course, back there with my boy, Asante Samuel Jr. Asante Samuel Jr., my boy, out of Florida State as well. His 4th year, he's 5'10", 180. He's just a big-time playmaker. They allowed him to roam around a lot more. Not the traditional quarterback position, but they allow him to roam around and key on the playmakers on offense. So, again, these two superstar DBs elevates this Chargers team to another level. And after their final game, the recent game, and the first game as well as the second game, the first game against the Vegas Raiders, and then the second game against Carolina, they look so good and confident. So you know it's going to get tough now. You know, now they're getting ready to go to Pittsburgh. It's physical. It's physical. And let me just say, I just saw the press conference of Jim Harbaugh talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and giving props to head coach Mike Tomlin. He made this, this is what he said about the Steelers. He said, we're preparing for the Steelers, but guess what? They play the same scheme, and they've been playing this same defensive scheme since 1982. I told you, the Steelers don't change. But it's important to have a head coach to know how a certain team plays. Because Jim Harbaugh played against the Steelers as a quarterback, and now he's back coaching against teams like the Steelers. He knows the tendencies. And so he says they're professional, they're great knowledge, but he gave much prop to Mike Tomlin, his grit, and how he continues to elevate this team, the Steeler team, this next team. But again, much props. And so, again, I'm very, very impressed by Jim Harbaugh. He's changing the culture of this team from the previous head coach who was just too young of a head coach against these veteran players. And when you bring in Jim Harbaugh, and I saw the remarks by Khalil Mack in the locker room after their win. Khalil first win, and then Khalil Mack just said, hey, the guy knows football, man. What can you say? He's a veteran. You're going to fall in line. And when Khalil Mack says this, and Joey Bosa says it after the game, I mean, the veterans just, follow the lead. And they're very business. So I see the Chargers being much more business-like this year, and they're going to hit a skid. But I think the veteran leadership coming from Jim Harbaugh is paying off dividends already. So let me go through the schedule real fast. I'm going a little bit long on the Chargers because guess what? They look so daggone good. So they played against the Vegas, won against Vegas the first game. Next game, they crushed the Carolina Panthers. And that was the end of Bryce. What's his name? I better leave it. Bryce Young. End of Bryce Young. So anyway, now they go to Pittsburgh. I'm going to give them, guess what? Even though Pittsburgh is in Pittsburgh and all that, I'm going to give the Chargers a win. Then they host the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to give the Chargers a win. I'm so impressed by them. Then they have a bye. Then they go to Denver, win. Then they go to Arizona, win. Then they go to host New Orleans, win. Then they go to Cleveland, win. Then they host Tennessee, win. Then they host Bengals, win. Then they host the Ravens. He goes against his brother, win. And then they go to Atlanta. That's going to be a loss because they're going to be on a high, and I think the Falcons will catch them by surprise. Then they go to Kansas City. Kansas City will catch them by surprise. That's a loss. Then they host Tampa Bay, win. Then they host Denver, win. Then they go to New England. That's a win. And then they finish out with the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas. That's a loss. So I have the Chargers with a 14-3 record. Yes, the 14-3 record, just behind the KC, second to KC, but they'll make the playoffs. Put it that way, they'll make the playoffs. And watch out when they get to the playoffs and that veteran leadership by Jim Harbaugh. And I believe it will make a difference, and they'll at least, I think they'll win the first round and then go to the second level of the playoffs and may go very, very deep in the AFC Championship. And don't be surprised if they go against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. And then the fix is on. I already told you it's fixed. But at least they'll make, I think they'll vastly improve from last season, which was a disaster. So watch out for my LA Chargers and Jim Harbaugh and my boys Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, Sherman and Derwin James, and my boy Asante Samuel Jr. Dang, so sweet. There you go. That's Football 101. That's a Beetle. That's what I predict for the LA Chargers. Go, Charger. Go.